Hi everyone, I'm Darlene, and I've had a few requests for a craft room tour, so I'm going to be taking the camera around and showing you my room. But first I wanted to get on the camera, which I hate to do, and say thank you so much to all my blog readers and YouTube listeners and subscribers. It makes me feel so good when you guys leave comments, and I just love it. So I just wanted to thank you so much for watching my videos, and let's do the craft room tour. Okay, so here is the room at a glance. When we built the house, we wanted to have a storage area, so this started as a storage area, and then I ended up putting in some windows, and I put a little island in the middle, and it became my craft room. So I still use a lot of the space for storage, which is all those boxes up there. But for the most part, it's pretty much my craft room. So this is my desk, and these are all my Stampin' Up! Ink pads and my little caddy that turns. I love this thing, and it's kind of messed up with the new color renovation because I'm still trying to figure out what colors I have and don't have and all that. And then I also keep some other ink pads like the Versamark and stuff in here. So that's that, and then off to the side here, since I just started using the Distress inks, I just have just a little stack over here with the different colors that I've started with. And I haven't used them in a while. I think I might use one soon. And then on my desk, I also have the Stampin' Up! Markers because I use those all the time. And then I also keep a little container of my Copic markers. And as you can see, I really don't have that many. I just have about two of all the basic colors. Craft mat, which is the Tim Holtz craft mat. And I think it was about $18 or so, and I've been using this instead of the grid paper, and I love it because it's very durable, and I just put paper on it and I'll emboss right on there so I don't have to hold it, which is kind of nice. And it wipes off really easy. I just keep a rag over here and I just kind of wipe off ink whenever I use it. And then I keep a little trash can, and then I've got my cutter. I use a Fiskars cutter with the rotary blade, but then I also use this cutter. This is my favorite. It's the Cutterpede. I love this. This is the one that cuts the straightest line that I could find. So a lot of times, even though you're lining it up at the top, it just doesn't cut a straight line. This cuts a very straight line. Okay, so if I turn around this way, behind the door, this is where my drawers are and everything. And I don't really have a lot of paper crafting stuff in the drawers. That's more storage. But up here, I added like these little shelf things so that I could put some stuff on the counter and stack it up. But here's my Big Shot that I use, and I've got a stack of cards. I'm not even sure what these are, and then just some more miscellaneous cards that I've made recently. I keep my book of catalogs there, and then in there I also have some cards that I'm storing. But most of the cards that I make I keep up here in these two boxes. And I have them divided by the different occasions. And so when somebody's birthday, I come up here and I kind of figure out, which birthday card I want to use or whatever. So when I make a card, I usually kind of just toss it up here, and then eventually I get around to cataloging it in there. I've got my Cricut machine, which is in the back because I hardly ever use it. I'm always stamping letters. I used to use it for letters all the time, but I really don't anymore. Okay, so this wall is all my stamp sets. So all of these are Stampin' Up! That's pretty much all of them. I don't like to get rid of anything, so I keep pretty much everything. And then in this box is where I keep all of the clear stamps, or the ones that come in the little packages, the Hero Arts ones. And then I can quickly kind of run through these. I keep a lot of my letters in here. Then I have my Score Pal, which I use to score all my paper. I love it. I've heard the Martha Stewart one is really good, and if I was going to buy another one, I think I might buy that one because this one doesn't have all of the lines equally separated, and so it can get a little bit confusing when I know what the measurement is, but I can't figure it out based on their line up here with the numbers. So these are ribbon spools that I use a lot. So I have like a 5/8 inch satin brown, 5/8 inch satin black, white, and then also some beige. I have some grosgrain double stitched, 2 rolls of that. Most of these are black, brown, and white or beige. These are just ones that I use a lot, and I bought them I think in Canada, and they were pretty cheap. You can, if you buy them in big bolts like that, then they're really, really cheap. Then I have paper here. This is sort of my stack of, when I run out of something, I can come pick one up here. It's almost all Stampin' Up. Okay, so going around this way, these are all of my scrapbooks. And I really don't look at them that often, to be honest, which is why I focus more on card making, because I feel like I get a greater impact on people looking at it and enjoying it than with the scrapbooks. Okay, and then coming around this way, so here I am. So here's the table where I was before, and now here's the wall that has most of my card making stuff on it. So this is my stack of embossing powders, and I put them in the Tupperware, and it makes it really easy to put them on the card and put it back on without having to have that little jar. And then I've got a box of glues and some sponges, and these are more containers of glitter and embossing powders that I have not put into the Tupperwares. This is all my retired stuff, all the colors, the markers and stamp pads for Stampin' Up. Okay, so the next shelf down has all my ribbon, and I just bought these ribbon containers. Well, I didn't really actually buy them. I got them from Stampin' Up through the Great Rewards program because of my sales. And it took me a really long time to put them together, and I also cut myself doing it, and there's like all this blood showing up on the containers. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I should be more careful. So I kind of like it, but the thing is I like to pull it out and bring it over to my table and kind of measure it out. But with this, you can't really do that. I mean, you have to like unbutton this thing on the side and pull it out and do it. So I'm not sure I'm going to like it. I'm going to leave it up there for a while. I like how I can see everything that I have. I actually had the ribbon in these 3 containers up here where I could just pull the whole container down to my desk, and that worked out pretty well. So I may have to go back to that if this isn't working out. Okay, so this is all paper, 12 by 12 paper. These two are all different companies. This is just my Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper. Well, except for this. Aside from this pack, it's all Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up! And then this is all Stampin' Up! 12 by 12. So that way I keep those separate because these coordinate really nice and it's easy to do scrapbooking. And then just kind of occasionally I'll go in here. I really do use these mostly. But I use those too. I use a lot of this sometimes when I'm looking for a background paper. When I take a picture of my card, I'll go here and try to find something that matches nice. This is all my Stampin' Up! Paper, and I just reorganized it. These are the 8.5 by 11 sheets, and you can see, I don't know if you can zoom in. This says Basics. It's actually, I think it's called Neutrals now. And then I have a tab for Rich Regals, and then I have a tab for Soft Subtles and Bold Brights. And so I organize it by color collection. So I have all the neutrals here, and then I have the Rich Regals. So that way when I'm looking for a color, I can see what I need. Oh, and also, I keep this paper over here. This is just kind of garbage paper that I let my kids use, that I used to use before I got into Stampin' Up! It's all like Joann, sort of, 6 for $96. And then this is Paper Tray white paper. And is it paper? Yeah, that's right. It says Paper Tray ink. It is called... It's just white. It just says white. This white paper is the best, in my opinion, paper. Not for ink, because with Stampin' Up! White, if you want vibrant color, I stamp on the Stampin' Up! White. But for card stock, the base that you're going to use for your card, you can't beat this. It is so thick and sturdy. I love it. So I use that for my card base, but then I'll use a Stampin' Up! White for actually stamping images because it really absorbs the color really well. Okay, so moving down, I have a bunch of, let's take a step back here, you can see I've got drawers of stuff. I've got all my brads and some buttons in this container here, which I have dropped on the floor countless times, and they got all mixed up, and I had to spend a ton of time reseparating everything. So maybe it's not the best way to store it. Okay. And then here's where I keep all my flowers. I use mostly, I don't know if it's Prima or Prima, I don't know. But those are the flowers that I love the most because they're made out of paper, and I tend to like the paper better than the silk. Like this is a silk flower, and they kind of fray at the ends when you use the silk flower, so that's why I prefer the paper. I also have some felt ones in here, and those work out well too. And then I have all of my brads, buttons, rhinestones. I buy the strips of rhinestone, and then I cut them in between and cut them off this little single strip of adhesive that connects them all together. more buttons. And then finally, I keep a lot of my Sizzix embossing folders, and these make the tags and the, you know, the, what's that called? I can't remember. Here's the butterfly, the embossed butterflies, which I love. Oh, Top Note, that's what that's called. Okay, and then my next drawer, well, I have some colored pencils here, which I spent, it was regularly like $40, and I spent like $25 on them. And I've used them on one card, but I didn't make a video out of it. But I'm going to, because it actually is really pretty when you use colored pencils on dark paper. So I'm going to do a video on that. So, and then here's my embossing tool. Okay, and then I keep a couple of my ink pads that don't fit into my caddy here. The Colorbox chalk inks don't fit in the caddy, so I keep those here. And I keep them upside down so that the ink doesn't drain to the bottom. So when I'm ready to use them, they're always ready. Alright, so here is where I keep, these are the 4 different color collections from Stampin' Up! So I just bought these from Target. I'll bring it over here and open it up. So what I do is with all my scrap pieces, so this is, let's see, soft settle. And so I create a tab for each color, so when I have scraps, I just file them here. So this one's rose red, and if you look down in there, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like rose red pieces, and then there's the pretty in pink pieces and the So Saffron pieces, and that way if I just need a piece of something, I just go to the right folder and there I have it. I used to keep them in the, you know, different packages of paper, like over here, this pretty in pink package, I'd stuff the scraps in there, but it was so much easier and nicer to keep it organized in these 4 different folders. Okay, and then over here is my favorite part of the craft room, which is all my punches. And I got this idea from my upline, my Stampin' Up! Upline, Alicia, and she had them up there with curtain rods. And immediately when I left her house, I stopped at Bed Bath & Beyond and got myself some curtain rods. And they are awesome. I love having them out here so I could see them all. I used to keep them in drawers. I was always sifting through them trying to find the one that I wanted, and now they're all out on display. And then this is actually an OttLite, and I use this to take photos of my cards. So what I do is I put it on the table, I open it up, okay, and it provides a lot of natural light. And I actually find that it comes out better if I take the photo at night, because I don't have the competing daylight from the windows back there. Anyway, and then down under my desk, I have this box of stuff that I haven't used yet. So whenever I get something new, I throw it in this box. And then, you know, maybe if I've used it once, I'm happy and I can put it away. But sometimes I usually wait until I use it 3 or 4 times. Okay, so that's basically the craft room. Now I'm going to show you how I video. So I'm going to pause this and I'm going to go set it up, and then I'll show you how it works. Okay, so here is my fancy high-tech setup for videotaping my cards. So I have this kid table, which is, it belongs to my kids, and I stole it from the game room. And I put it on my desk, and then I took one of my daughter's comforters from her bed, or the shams from her bed, and put it on top for a little bit of cushion. And then I have this. This is actually my husband's. It's a unipod, so, you know, you screw your camera to the top of it. And so I screw my video camera, which I'm using right now, so I can't show you that. So I screw it to the top, and then I lay it down, and then I arrange it so that it's pointing straight down at my work surface. And then I turn it on and I record. But then if you notice, it's actually backwards. So I'm actually working here, and my camera is recording from the other side. So what I have to do is I have to flip it 180 degrees so that it looks right. Anyway, so that's how I videotape the cards. It's very fancy. So that's basically my craft room tour. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me.